For our new members of the Citizens Transportation Advisory Committee, here is a brief history of the current river crossing project. Plans for a new river crossings have existed for decades and decades, most notable being what was known as the Outer Connector. A recent east-west mobility study determined that it would be imperative to create a river crossing west of I-95 in an attempt to ease congestion. The city of Fredericksburg and Stafford County asked FAMPO to study a potential river crossing between those two jurisdictions. At the outset, Spotsylvania County did not support the project. FAMPO initially developed 4 different options to be analyzed. A consulting firm, Michael Baker International, was hired in October of 2023 to complete this initial study. Ultimately, 5 options were extensively studied, as well as a no-build alternative. The extensive study of the options included many components that were presented by MBI. There was level of service for 25 intersections that were analyzed by Ctac. Several different origin and destination routes were modeled to determine the travel time between certain locations, also analyzed by Ctac. The different options were screened, particularly their environmental factors, again analyzed thoroughly by Ctac. Additionally, the travel demand of the different options was presented for PM peak hours, but Ctac utilized an entire day's daily crossing volume in their analysis to also view the impact on other existing river crossings. Survey data from the public was also analyzed by Ctac, all of which led to Ctac's determination of their preferred route, which was presented to the Policy Board nearly 1 year ago. Ctac's Bridge and Parkway differed from each of the existing 5 options. On the right side, you can see how Ctac's route differed from the original route created by MBI and by a route that was created by FAMPO staff. Ultimately, on the left, you can see the revised consultant sketch of their final option C corridor. Noting Ctac's differences, it sought to travel over consistent elevations, primarily over land that was already cleared. It sought to avoid more of the conservation easements than the other 2 options, see lines drawn by MBI and staff. And it sought to maintain as much tree canopy as possible, and it utilizes the shortest length of needed bridge. Ctac's option C did not end there, for several reasons. To be more impactful for the entire region, a second branch was created that went due south across the river, ultimately connecting to Route 3. As part of the final MBI report, it was noted that whichever route is ultimately decided upon, that the opportunity to visit the historical sites of this region should become a part of the project. As VDOT completes the NEPA study, they will determine the best location for a route, which may be entirely different from any of the earlier options presented, including the option C corridor. FAMPO has applied for a build grant to assist in paying the costs of the NEPA study, which highlights the intent to reduce regional traffic, congestion, trip life, and travel time. You will recall, however, that in the 12 southernmost intersections model in the level of service study, that the amount of delay for option C is either equal to, or in some cases worse, than if the no-build option is selected. This factor does not seem to actually create a reduction of regional traffic, congestion, trip length, and travel time in this southern part of the region, which is why Ctac proposed the second branch, to connect to Route 3 in Spotsylvania County, creating a larger grid and providing choices for drivers.